Hi there and welcome back. This one's going to be a fairly short video. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts on photographing, um, thinking about light, thinking about sun, that kind of thing when you're taking ICM photos. Now, the wonderful thing I find about ICM photography, it does not matter what the weather is doing. You can go and ICM photograph in the pouring rain and take some wonderful photos. You might get some quite flat light, but you can still take some stunning photos regardless of what the weather might be throwing for you. In fact, some of the most challenging lighting can be when the sun is really bright out, because then you need filters, or you find that you have such massive contrast within your image that it's very difficult to hold the shadows and the bright spots. So this is very quickly, I just wanted to show you a selection of images I took on one location a couple of weeks ago, and just give you a chance to have a look at each one together. So let's just, I'm going to go with these two. So these are taken in exactly the same location within minutes of each other. And I was literally taking them as I was there, and sort of thinking about the fact that I could show you what difference light can make. And I quite like this image. It's got depth, it's got colour, it's not too distracting. There's not too many, there's a few little light spots up here. They could easily be cloned out or changed, or I could crop to 16:9 to try and get rid of them. I'd probably play with the contrast to move the contrast a little bit, just to make it pop a little bit. Now this is with the sun. Much more contrasty and strong image, and you will see if I put the histogram points on, you will see that I've got white clipping. I've actually lost the detail in some of these. Now I always shoot in RAW, so it's always possible to bring most of that back. There you go. Just got a few little areas that you might need to play with to get rid of it. But that image compared to the previous one, it's a very different feel. This is kind of quite a somber, dark, not spooky, but kind of lonely woodland, whereas this one has an awful lot more vibrance to it, a lot more, yeah, like I say, a lot more contrast. This image I'd be working to pull back the light, whereas the other one I would be looking to introduce a bit more contrast and introduce a little bit more light. So it's fun to see those. We go on to the next location. Again, this is a location, you can see up here that the light was quite bright on the day I was there. Again, the first thing I might do is pull the highlights back and just see whether I can rescue them, which I have done. I do find them quite distracting, so I'd probably go on to clone or crop, depending on what I wanted to do. But again, this is just literally to show you the difference between having the sun out and not having the sun out. And here you have some lovely tones. It wasn't completely flat light, because you can see where the gaps or holes in the canopy, that's where a little bit of light is coming through, but the sun was not shining at this moment. Then the sun came out. And just like the other image, you have so much more contrast, and these dark trees really pop out, and you can then see the difference between where the sun is on the right hand side of the trunks versus the dark on the left, and you get some real sort of contrast going on there. So again, if we have a look back at the previous one, it's lovely, but these tree trunks are just sort of flat solid lumps, whereas in here you introduce more of a dimension. Again, I'd need to be working on pulling back a lot of the highlights. These are literally straight out of camera. I haven't done anything to them. I was just literally using them and picked them out to show you what the difference can be. And then this was another location. I think actually this one, here we go. This is the one without the sun. This is quite flat, this one. Not a lot going on. I probably wouldn't choose this one to edit further, because I feel there's not a lot of depth going through there, and there's quite a lot of distracting little elements up in the top here. However, the sun one brings a vibrancy, it brings energy to the woodland. It brings, yeah, it has a feeling of, sunniness and energy, which the other one, it doesn't. It makes a big difference on that one. And I think the last one here we have this, not exactly the same composition, these two, but near enough. But you can see that I lost the highlights in these considerably, because I've got a lot of sky in here. But again, because I shot in RAW, I can pull them back, but it's awfully distracting up there. But this is without any sun, so it's quite, again, it's quite flat, but you have got all the different colours, and there's no major, down at the lower part, there's no sort of distracting elements. Whereas in the sun, again, as I mentioned, slightly different composition, but you can see that these woodlands come alive when you get a bit of sun coming through them. You know, the fact that it comes down through different places, it lights up the different greens in the trees. You've got so many different greens here. So, as I said at the beginning, it was a very quick walkthrough, just so you can see what the difference is between having sun out and no sun. Don't give up if you don't have any sun. Enjoy the fact that you haven't got to battle the highlights and the shadows. It may just be that you need to put a little bit of a punch back into your images when you're post-processing. And if you're out and it is sunny, really bear in mind the distractions that are coming through the canopies if you're working with woodlands. And bear in mind that if you do get highlighted areas, if you're not working in RAW, you're going to have a real problem pulling them back. But equally, you know, enjoy the fact that you've got so much contrast, and look for the contrasts in the shadow and the light, and look for where it's falling on one side of the tree and not the other side of the tree, that kind of thing. So as I said, there's a very short walkthrough. I hope you enjoyed that little video for you. I shall be bringing more of these images to you shortly after I've worked on them. These came from a holiday that I had a couple of weeks ago in France, and I was really inspired by this little woodland here. So I will be bringing more to you with some videos and things like that. So keep in tune, and do share the YouTube channel if you think it would be useful to anybody, and give me a thumbs up or a comment if you've enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you soon.